Hello, this is FG back with you for Anbennar, with what is likely to be the penultimate episode of the Rezankand playthrough. Alright, where are... Okay, they need to move right here. That is the hub. Alright. Yes, alright. How many men do they have? 50,000. Okay, we can send one army this way. Already most plantations with not reach many settlements on the outskirts. We shall not falter in our duty. Suriel's light will not be quenched. Alright. Are they gonna get spawning troops? Okay, we need that. Okay. Where's their capital? Over here. Okay, get those guys some cannons. It's not gonna be many for right now, but we'll actually just go ahead and split them in half. Go there, there. Mages provoke artificers. Okay. There. That's a coin, then none can claim. Alright, skill 3 Inquisitor for half off. Seems fine to me. Okay, and they need to follow up right there. Mage is 1. I have more important things to be dealing with at the moment. Got a spy network on them. Trip superiority. Oh, come on. All of the cannons need to go right there. Again, all of the cannons need to go right there. These guys go that way. Go right there. Send them there. They can take that general. And these guys can head back. Nope, just kidding. Alright, go kill the song servants. they do have South Aelantir troop types. These guys can head that way. I'll take the admin efficiency. What if I improve relations with these two? Where is their capital? Okay, that's their capital. I really don't want to have to ferry troops over that way, but I can do it. We will go ahead and start moving guys like that. Send more cannons here, I guess. That way. Okay, so where are... Right over here. Investigation. Alright. Alright. The Chosen will oversee Artificery. That seems fair. Yeah, we'll do that. These guys can head right that way. Just gotta pray that we don't run into enemy troops immediately. Alright, there we are. You can use these ships to scout around. These guys can actually go protect trade in Amiens real quickly. Okay. Take the cannons, put them down there. Scout over here. Okay, that's where all their troops are. Okay, they do have a war wizard. Do we have Icarus? Is he ready for service? Alright. He has been recalled for service. What are we doing? Action time. Let's do that. In utter darkness, the vast verdant reach of the Ephelite is not the first time the people of Rezankand are confronted with a vast untamed wilderness hiding malignant presence at heart. The oldest tales of Bulwari, our stalwart brethren across the ocean, tell of Tirdina, or Dark Forest, that in time immemorial covered much of what is now the austere Salahad Desert, now seemingly devoid of life, but back then a thriving with all manners of plants, animals, and crucially, monsters rejecting Suriel's gift of civilization and preying upon the distant ancestors of today's Bulwar. And as it was back then, so it is now, hidden in utter darkness, deep in the center of the jungle is a malignant entity, a Galu or demon. In Bulwar, it was Saksu, the vile remnant of the nature deity Amatsu, corrupted by the malevolent dark. In Zinzarkhan, it is the Ephelai itself, infested with malignant awareness of its own. But in both cases, Suriel has given us the gift to deal with such threats. Blessed fire, chasing away the darkness and thus purifying the land and all it contains. Ikaris has long since lost sight of the other members of the battalion under his command. The constant ambushes and desperate battles against hordes of sea thralls bursting through the undergrowth having long since eliminated all thoughts of marching discipline or orderly combat rows. Swinging his trusted wishblade, Rezankand, he sliced through scores of enemies, who, for all their deceptively malnourished appearances, fought with reckless abandon and a berserk rage. Rushing through half-collapsed tunnels formed by ruins overgrown with vegetation and narrow paths between cliffs that could either be natural or elf-made structures decayed beyond recognition, he slowly but steadily approached his target. A massive mound containing the local hub of Ephelai intelligence that was coordinating the assaults along this part of the front line. With almost no warning, he stumbled onto what must have been a vast plaza long ago, before the pulsating verdant mass of the mound. Ikaris had warily approached his target. Only his caution allowed him to evade the tree used as a club by the monstrosity, tall as 4 men and appearing to be crafted from untold seed thralls woven together by pulsating vines that guarded the central hub. A desperate battle ensued, with Ikaris avoiding the earth-shattering strikes raining down on him by a hair's width. Any cut he managed to inflict on his opponent began to heal almost immediately, but after a seeming eternity, he finally saw an opening, and with an almighty jump he propelled himself onto the back of the creature and jammed his wishblade deep into its suppurating flesh, channeling all the power of an elemental core into Rezankand. He wished for dawn, and a shining bright light started to erupt from fissures appearing all over the creature, widening with each moment until the grotesque servant of the Ephelai was consumed by a blinding blast of light. Gathering his remaining strength, Ikaris began to slowly ascend the mound, all too aware that any moment new reinforcements of the enemy might arrive, but he reached the apex undisturbed. Once there, it was a simple matter of implanting the inscripted sunburst containers and triggering their activation sequence. Not so simple was the subsequent flight down the mound, desperately trying to avoid the snares formed by the twitching vines. With only seconds to spare, Ikaris jumped behind the ruined wall that only barely shielded him from the conflagration that marked the end of this particular subordinate instance of the enemy. One down, many more to go. Alright. Well, that makes that process easy, I guess. At least you don't have to deal with being up north. Alright. Transfer trade. Here. Okay, so here, have an army. Where's the commandant? Okay, we need to burn that hub. Do we have any more hubs we need to burn? Yeah. Alright, burn it. I need to also go to advancement and do artifact and enthrallment. I prefer that. Okay. Alright, so against Vern, we're gonna have to grab like 2 of their colonies, plus a few provinces right there. And purification be done, so it's 1. Just fund the artificers, vendorless stalls. I think I need morale of armies more than anything. Just the way fighting the beasts works is that I think they have pretty much... Yeah. Right. We're gonna have to go back. We want the Morale Armies guy. Alright, we are gonna have to go back further than that, unfortunately. And we want... I'll do discipline, see if we can just kill our way through them. And then we want to go and do Combat ward. And then burn the hub. Just try and slaughter our way through them. Six, 3-3. Alright. We're gonna have to use the Giga Army, unfortunately. Which sucks, but it's fine. Let's send this 28,000 Pectation. This army needs to stay where it is. And do I even want to bother burning the jungle right now? This army can go right there. We can go right there. And we can take these and build a whole bunch of those. Let's go with Puffy Hoxoy. These guys can go right there. I feel like these guys need to get split in half. Half can come down this way. There, here, and there. These armies need to link up so they can deal with the Vernmen. Managed to siege that down too quickly. Eureka. Alright. Earthians. I need discipline. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's use this army to go slaughter That happens when you don't have a general. Yeah, seems good. Okay, so from Vern, I would really just like... that for the moment. I'm gonna go... that. I know they need to come right here. Probably turn this down one. Can't have... yeah. Where is the combat fleet? Nope, nope. There's the combat fleet. I need to go fight them. Need steal maps of Nadia. And here I want maps of... Can't steal maps of the West FLI, never mind. Alright, more missionary strength. Great. Yep, I need to head that way. Alright. Oh, did we win Court and Country? Yep, did. Barely even noticed. Yeah, go deal with the Vernman. The actual Vernman army right there. Alright. Right, go siege down the colonial capital. Oh god, I'm annexing a whole bunch of those capital provinces. Yikes. That would be why it's so expensive. Alright. Yep, head that way. That's good there. This army needs to go somewhere where it can recover. Yep. That army's on the move, that army's on the move, that army's moving. Army needs to head down south. This army needs to fight these godforsaken rebels. And we can do on here as well. And don't really need that one. Don't really need that one. Alright, we're looking good with conversions. We need to recover a ton of manpower. Growth beans, excellent. Who does not have a general? They have a generals. Conversions are looking good. Do I have to get the island as well? Yeah, that sucks. New Missphere. Is that their that's their capital. Alright. Where is my Uber army? There they are. Combat width is currently 38. 25. 26. Okay, so this army has 12 cavalry. I can get rid of that cavalry. And get 10, and then we can go that. I go ahead and add an extra 5 cannons to all of these. Let me steal one of West FOI. Now I have those ultra hard hitting troops. Almost. Go ahead and pay off my last loan. That done. Is my boots. There they are. Alright. Come off. This can come off. Get one more cannon for them. Manpower recovery speed definitely will be helpful. I will actually send this army that way. 533, I guess. Enlightenment. Yay, 1700. Ciphers. Let's get more inventions. I like Dame's tier bullets. Alright. Let's go right here. There's the Colt. The Uber army. Is there any... Where are my active FY hubs? Over there. Okay. I did not mean for that to happen right there. Oh no. Again, fuck. Why do I keep doing that? Does this army have... Okay, so it does have the right amount of cannons. Okay, so it's... Yeah, discipline doesn't matter, the morale does. Alright, I give up. Oh, I'm gonna have to deploy the entire army to fight the jungle. I just can't be bothered right now. Okay, let's do that. And we want to go ahead and deploy our fleets this way. Expulsion of heathens, tech cost. Yeah. No, this army goes north, this army goes south. I still don't have that much manpower. Forgot about this for a minute. Sure, take that. Cultural shift, whatever. I do not care. Let me get better cannons, royal mortars, sure. Are you actually gonna attack me? You know, I'm actually going to take the reinforced speed, because I kind of would like reinforced speed. We want all of the islands. Okay. So that's the islands, and then we want to grab a beachhead here. So something like that. And we can do enchantment. How long does this last? 5 years? Yeah, this war will be over in 5 years. Yeah, that reinforced speed was really the right decision, even though it makes the battles a little bit worse. I'll go ahead and pop that. What? Okay. Not that one, army. Do that one. We could do construction time. Why not? Are they willing to surrender? They absolutely are. Hi. I think I've set in the city while these guys march right there. Oh, wrong one. Tech trade in Amiens, so I can push that way. Yeah, trade steering's alright, I guess. Every time we convert someone, it's like an immediate -12 unrest, which is really nice. These guys can head down south. Deal with that. Illusion. Don't have quite enough mana. Alright. Um, 5-3-2 or 5-3-2 money. Ooh, industrious. Okay, so we need to do that. There goes the Age of Artificers. Alright. Oh, that's not fair. You decide to stop selling slaves and start selling slaves. Sun Cult's looking pretty good. Phoenix Empire has done nothing for a very long time. So I'd have to fight 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 wars, roughly. Morians really did a number on the natives. Right there, right there, right there. And we'll build a few right there. Build one right there as well, why not? The malevolent dark touched all aspects of precursor society and ultimately led to its downfall. Thus, elf enslaved elf, a truly abhorrent practice born from the depraved minds of those lost to the dark. But not everyone was lost in those dark days. For every villainous courage spreading darkness, a courageous hero was struggling to bring forth a ray of light. In Munakles, or Muniskan, the Chainbreaker, as he is called by the descendants of his followers, was one of the greatest of these heroes. He liberated slaves all over Taichin and led them far away from oppressors into their new homeland in the lush Metabos Valley, carrying with them many relic treasures of their former masters. Their descendants, the Medabar and the Chindayan, still adhere to the teachings of Munakles, and are thus more receptive to our message of freedom for all under the light of Suriel than most other Ruinborn. We only stand to gain from convincing our fiercely independent brethren to join us in the liberation of all Zinzerkand. And who knows, maybe they might express their gratitude by sharing some of the treasures of their precursor ancestors with us. Alright, light metrics. Okay. Shipyard, Grand Shipyard. Development, and it needs to be how much? 25, dock, dry dock. Alright. And then we want the dry dock. These guys should probably be drilling for at least a little bit. Alright. Again, every time one of these converts, it's basically like a plus 12 to their scope of the smiths. First you need a smith. I want to know the path to the land of the smiths. A royal crown. We can do all power cost now. I think we have enough conversion strength. Alright. The mighty Igarkes, the pinnacle of Keonii naval engineering, ensured the dominance of the Keonii fleet over all rival naval powers before our arrival. But our shipwrights and sailors who built and crewed vessels capable of crossing oceans are more than up to the challenge. We shall not be outdone by would-be Thessalocracies, who remain limited to navigating close to their home shores. With the collected knowledge of millennia of Bulwari shipbuilding, the knowledge gained from studying precursor vessels, the Deern heroes first among them, and the ingenuity of practitioners from our Kurusim, the art of inscription which some Kenorians consider proto-artificery, our fleet shall best everyone, even the prideful Keonii who dare contest our control of the sea around their new homes. We'll do Vendero Stalls. Tales of our deeds have spread far and wide across the lands of Rezankand, and with it accounts of Suriel and our faith have traveled beyond our borders, and in some cases they reached the hearts and minds of people who did not know the light of Suriel was missing in their life. Among these converts are even some of the haughty Keonii, the inhabitants of the large western island with an unusual cerulean hue, and they have proven invaluable in convincing their brethren of the righteousness of our cause. While many Keonii living in the territories of Devon and the Andic Reach have come under our control, still cling to their obsessive devotion to their native city-states and philosophical mirages construed to distract people from contemplating the divine, a growing number have proven receptive to the teachings of Suriel. And these new converts are eager to contribute to the struggle in their own way. The Keonii have a deserved reputation as being the best shipwrights on this continent, and now we have access to this hard-earned knowledge. Keonii shipwrights and craftsmen, together with our Kurusemi, have developed an ambitious design that will surely revolutionize naval warfare in these waters. A new and improved version of the famed Darkes, the Diranira Digarkes, clad in lightweight armor derived from the sunplate, and with improved navigational equipment akin to the ones used during our long journey to Rezankand. With these vessels, it will be us and not the Keonii or upstart Kenorians who will rule the seas around our new homelands. So now we can build about 20 of those. And then I will build a whole bunch of those. Alright, trade good-wise. No more slaves. Excellent. siege ability. Trade efficiency and that. Yeah, these are some big ships. 120 cannons versus 72 cannons. Just no. So they have similar levels of cannons and hull size to our heavies. They're like not quite as good, but so they have about half the hull size, but about equal amounts of cannons. 2 engagement width versus 3 engagement width. Alright. What if I go right here? Again, these guys need to protect trade in the dry coast. Unless... Okay, who else does this put me at war with? No one? Who's Everthale allied to? Alright, Everthale doesn't really have any allies, which is interesting. Alright, there we are. These guys can march. Yeah, they can head that way. Actually, no. They don't need to do that. They can take the boats. Alright, let me take a save game. And I'm gonna check if this calls me into... or this calls in all of their allies. Does not appear so. Right. Select mission, hunt enemy fleets in southeast Aelantir coast. I really don't want to have to send troops over to Anor, but I absolutely will. Where the hell did those troops come from? This, and that. Just want 3 province from you, buddy. Alright. Need that. This is the Uber Galley fleet. That's good. These guys need to come that way. These guys can all gather together. And these guys can protectorate in Amion. They need an admiral, strangler vines. There goes my fucking court mage. Man. Load up onto the transports in March. Right there. Penderless stall. Alright, from the artificers. That. Okay. Discord up. We can do Ashen Guard. Alright. Tech-wise, they are Tech 25, while we are Tech 26. Alright, so we are at a numerical disadvantage, and they have more cannons. Alright. Give me a mage. A mage that is of a correct culture. Do Conjuration, summon those familiars. Where are they? Steel maps of the West FLI. Alright. That's fine culture. Okay. Is that everything I need? It is. Alrighty. Time for these guys to make their way on back. And for Vern, I want to... Let me actually do something a little bit more psychotic. Okay, so what we want is, obviously, these provinces. We gotta have them. And then... we also want that province. Alright, we are back in the old world. And the reason why I'm doing this is, well, one, because it's funny, and second of all, it gives me a much easier way to get to my enemies, rather than having to boat them over all the time. So now, whenever we fight, we can go actually occupy Vern itself, which will get us to be able to take these provinces much quicker. Because we can actually, you know, just quickly hop on over to Vern and grab all of those. And do I want to boat? Man, okay, yeah. Go ahead and build an army right there. But also, Jesus H. Christ. That is a lot of development. Yeah, I can head on to Narinakar. I think my next war is going to be against Chaos. Don't care. Alright, we are closing in on being done with everything. Yeah, there's no way we're getting that. How much? 224. That's really not too bad. We lead the crowds. How long does this last? 10 years. Okay, so they have 200,000 men. Let me go ahead and get up to 30,000 cannons in those two armies. That one already has the correct amount of cannons. Go up to that. Guys need a few more cannons. Okay, so... Okay, I'm gonna need to task this army, split it in half, and it will go to the Leech Dens. So Ruin, this army can deal with this half. This army's gonna get split in half, so it can deal with those two sections. And this army will be the one dealing with Amadia. And I suppose this army will just kind of be sitting here. Okay, now where is my combat fleet? Are we great power-wise? Number 1, right? It's 30,000 here, send one here. Alright, so there goes my commandant once again. Yeah, we'll go with reinforced speed. Again, this army needs to get split in half. Half go here. Half come right here. And this army comes right there. And this army... Get that, and they can march on over here, and we will do chaos. Imperialism. Eureka. Yep. Arcane Blaster, sure. Oh god. Thank you. Combat fleet. Okay, they need to move right there. These guys... they can head back. These guys need to march into the jungle. That is their entire point. Okay. Hey, bud. Okay, they need to head there. Actually, no, I think I saw their army over here, so we should probably stick together. Yes, I was correct. Okay, where was that defeat? Okay, there. And they can gather back up. Go right there. Spinning Jenny, whatever. Okay, so for them, I think I'll grab the south side of the island first. They can march that way. Oh, nope. Gotta come back. These guys need to come right here. And let us see how this goes. Alright, they need to recover for a little bit. Guess espionage, it's a little bit late, but just has some generally good abilities. Okay. Grab that. These guys can move right there. I hate the vermin so much. Stupid mustachioed idiots. Okay. And load these guys on. Yep. Just go with that. Oh no, this is my combat army that I can get back together. And they can go force them off the capital. Alright. Vern is not willing to leave, which is really unfortunate. Give me a trade guy, please. Yep. Not have enough men to really put up a fight left. Despite the fact they have undead military. Oh. Okay, go that way, grab that. You know what? I need spy network. God. And here, these guys march down that way. Admin, Diplo. No, sorry. Alright, time to boat on over to the capital. Okay, Vern. How much would it be theoretically to just like grab that? Alright, not too bad. Vern is all of a sudden feeling a lot worse about their prospects. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, they can crush that, they can go crush that, these guys can go deal with these rebels. Okay, what if I didn't take all of it, and I just took, like, that? You know, we're really not that far off. I'm gonna keep going. Man. And then we want to go right here and lead the crowds. You refund all these. Alright. Rid of a ton of separatism. And then we want to take this army, and they can go back and garrison the pearls. This, and then this army can sit right there. These guys can have one of them go right there, one of them go right there. These guys need to head back to Narinatar. here, they can deal with any sort of threat that way. Alright. And these guys can go right here. And we can do Napoleonic warfare. On the bright side, as soon as these get cored and converted, they should be pretty much loyal. Especially with that big old separatism reduction I get from Lead the Crowds. Because that functions as basically a -10 unrest. And yeah, that's even gotten rid of the unrest over here. Okay. And they can go sit right there. Okay, so that makes 2 more wars to fight. Oh, 3 more, sorry. Bureaucratizer, sure. How am I doing? Alright. That looks good. I can get another admin policy, yep. Discipline, we can do that. Okay. This should pretty much fix our governing capacity issues. Oh, yeah, I should probably do that. 3 full cores? I not noticed that. And then State House, get one there. Oh, still the #1 GP. Phoenix Empire continues to be pathetic. What am I doing? I also need a colonist. Alright. Rezankand Rose. Just go ahead and get this done. Where is my combat fleet? I moved it right here. Alright, it is time for them to go home, back to Aelantir. And religion-wise, we have nearly converted these heathens. We should be able to get everything. We are. Alright. Yeah, the Keonii ships are pretty good. Okay, yep, paid impact on siege, good. Neither of these are the combat army. Keonii left behind. Shall not squander this gift from Suriel. Alright. Okay, we are almost done converting. Still have to fight one. Ugh. Alright. And with that, we can do salvation. The light of Suriel touches all. This simple but undeniable truth lies behind our unceasing efforts to bring his light to all the various peoples of Rezankand. From the war-torn lands of the Taichendi to the prideful city-states of the Kyonii, from the vast savannas and secluded mountain strongholds of the Devandi, to the tempestuous lands of the Amadians, and even to those unfortunate dwelling within the benighted jungle realm, our people have gone and reached out to grant the elves of these lands a gift of Suriel's light. Now that all of the fractious Aelantir is united under our firm but benevolent aegis, the Kyonii have joined their kin on the mainland as wards of Suriel. All ruin-born in Rezankand, whether they be Kyonii or other, inhabiting these lands under our protection are safe from the predations of the malevolent dark and its agents. It is our sacred duty to protect those under our care and ensure that they are free to lead an existence basking in his light, and can devote themselves to do their part in the eternal struggle, liberating others in turn. And with that, we now accept all of the Kyonii, which I think is probably one of the biggest culture groups in the game. Right. What are these? Desert elf? What's a desert elf? They over here? Oh, desert elf, sorry. I thought that had something to do with Haroth. Sea elves, eclipse elves. Eclipse Horizon. I think the eclipse elves are over here. And then the horizon elves are these guys. Star elf, obviously sun elf, obviously sunrise elf. I don't know where the sunset elves are. Alright. And then we can go that way. Alright. And Divine Guidance will get us up to 100. Huzzah. Alright. I really want to spend, like, probably 30 years going to probably right up to 1800 fighting all those wars. You know what? Where's my battle army? Here's the battle army. I am going to just do those requirements with the console because I can't be bothered to sit here and have an entire another episode that's just spent fighting big colonial wars for like useless scraps of jungle. Well, maybe not that. Alright, I will pause the recording and I will be back when that is done. Alright, I went ahead and just used the console to get all of those provinces, and here we go. A constant nightmare of screeching seed thralls, treacherous vines, and poisonous thorn have harassed our brave adventurers every step of the way during their methodical purge of the FLI, cleansing its vast expanse of the deep-rooted evil infesting it. But finally, they have reached the heart of darkness, an overgrown ruined city permeated with a cancerous vitality and a malignant intelligence at its core. This must be where the infestation first took hold over the verdant lands of tropical Rezankand. It is here where we shall bring an end to this malignant creature, this insatiable herald of the malevolent dark. Suriel's sacred fire must burn out every last trace of this affront to his order, and we shall have fitting instrument to execute his will. The phoenix shall rise above Anawoi and rain down judgment over the vile servants of the dark entrenched there. What was once considered merely the demented paranoid ramblings of old failed explorers succumbing to jungle fever has proven a terrible reality. Hidden beneath the eternally blooming canopy lies a perpetual boil spreading its vile contamination. Yet even such an unimaginable servant of the darkness cannot stand against the concerted might of the faithful. Filled with righteous conviction and grim determination, our exemplars and the valiant troops under their command have proven time and again that against their ceaseless efforts, even a foe of such monstrous proportions cannot prevail. Mile after mile of inhospitable jungle has been cleansed in our inexorable advance, and we now stand at the outskirts of a vast precursor ruin buried beneath cancerous growths. Here, according to the diviners of the Gaparisan order, the heart of this evil can be found. From this ancient metropolis, it has spread and grown and devoured for century upon century, but no longer. The perimeter has been established, all traps and secret paths accounted for, the Herald of Vengeance standing together with the Herald of Legacy, Flame, and Purification. Their many acolytes gathered on their Phoenix platforms for this occasion has given the signal to commence the grand cleansing. At first, nothing seems to happen. The jungle quieting as if it holding its collective breath in anticipation. Then the dense clouds over the ruins start to glow, and first a dull red, then increasingly radiant color under the clouds themselves burst open, pierced by incandescent beams of skyfire raining down on the doomed lair of the enemy. The sudden screeches emanating from the jungle depths were soon drowned out by the fiery cataclysm. More and more beams were summoned, until they coalesced into a vast pillar of pure, binding, bright light that vaporized anything and everything on its path towards the bedrock. After seeming eternity, the light retreated back skywards, leaving a broad expanse of clear blue sky behind. And on the ground, slowly evaporating as steam clouds revealed a massive crater where once the ruined city stood. The ground had turned to glass, and only the most sturdy of precursor buildings were left standing, bleached to a shining white color. As the first hesitant jubilations sounded across the crater, it was as if a vast burden was lifted from our shoulder. We had fulfilled our sacred duty. Surely, even this most vile servant of the dark could not survive such a glorious manifestation of Suriel's light. We get the Colossus. Alright, all of these guys need to go deal with that. I am going to leave these guys here. All of these guys can get deleted. And they can make sure to deal with that. I do not care about that province. That can get dealt with. And then these guys can get rid of them. They can actually stay here. I'm happy with that. Sadly over, am I? I'm actually not over. Bureaucratizer. Wand locks, sure. Okay, these guys can deal with that. Logistics infrastructure, Colossus. It's 20 artificer capacity. Alright. Just waiting for whatever event comes next. Looking at the shape of the tree, we probably have... what's it called? Is there anything else we own that I accidentally took? No. But looking at the shape, we probably got one more mission. So that. Yeah, we annexed that. Actually fine, since these guys were already the correct culture. Fine for everything. Right. Nearly totally done. Get everything converted over. Remarkable. Of course, we got all these ships together. Demo petition, sure. Right. Got these guys right here. Give economic growth. these can go protect trade in band, I guess. Get upgraded and protect trade in the... Where is it? East FLI. Yeah, we can do it right here. What does this need? 25 development. And then we can move our trade capital right there. Transfer trade power, and I can actually collect trade here. We'll take them off the Calavans. And we can also, where's this fruit? Get these guys, and they can protect trade in the East FLI. Yeah, I'm keeping those guys there on purpose. Go ahead and core up these islands. It's all power cost. Right. Echoes of the Future. In the years after the glorious victory against the malignant servants of the dark holding the FLI in thrall, a strange malaise of spirit took hold in Rezankand. Where previously all were united behind the sacred mission to purify the FLI, now with this mission fulfilled, an increasing number of Rezankandi and even exemplars were questioning what Suriel had planned for them now. Even Elazar II oftentimes spent his night awakes, wondering what lay in store for the people, what path the future held. After months of increasingly desperate prayers for inspiration and guidance, Elzar II was left with only one option: to enter the House of Dreams. There, the diviner priestess of the Gaberson Order, who practiced the knowledge of light, the Erisar, to reveal what may otherwise be hidden, may guide the sleeping mind of a worthy ruler towards a prophetic dream sent by Suriel himself. However, those who are unworthy risk being trapped in their minds, instead of catching glimpses of the future, chased by phantasms sent by Irhungal, the mighty, and foremost servant of the malevolent dark. Elazar II was received by the High Priestess, Varia, who was once known to him as his younger half-brother, Verilor, before she took her oath, and guided him towards the center of the House of Dreams, where a demon on a raised platform awaited him. Suddenly, by the soft light of fragrant candles, the silent Gaberson, Elazar II slowly drifted into a deep sleep. A seamless white wall arising from the mist, a swift rise into the sky, a change of perspective. The walls turn into a gargantuan yet slender tower rising towards the heavens, pulsating with an inner light, rising even further, far, far above the land covered in darkness. A perspective usually reserved for Suriel. In the heart of the continent, a gleaming light, pulsing like a heartbeat. Slowly, other points of light start to flicker into existence. First one, then another, then an ever-increasing number washing into the land in a wave of light. The land is now covered by brilliant spots of light linked by wispy luminous threads, weaving a net of radiance all across Zenzarkand. With each pulse of the luminous web, the land becomes even brighter. Between the web's mesh, an incountable number of beings, each tiny spark itself, pulsating with light and growing ever bigger, cleansed of all traces of darkness. Alright. Alright, you know what? I know we have more missions, but I think I'm gonna end this playthrough here. I encourage any of you who want to see the rest of it to come complete it, but personally, I just dislike Colonial Wars, because it feels like a lot of sitting there and just kind of... I prefer to just kind of go at the enemy and just destroy them. Yeah, I mean, part of the problem was we had Amion conquer all of Tachend, which probably slowed us down by about 50 years to a century. So had they exploded, that would have been... we could have made our way across Tachend much quicker and then on to Devond. But I'm fairly satisfied with where we ended. You know, basically we have all of South Aelantir minus the, minus Amadia. I just want to check something in Amadia real quick. That is a lot of Dames tier. Where is... oh, did no one ever find the dragon? I guess not. Alright. Well, I guess we can look through the stats real quick. We're number 1. Console commanding actually really only got us, like, probably 100, 200 development up here, and then... oh, it did actually get us the island, so... yep, we have that, and we go back to the ledger. Inflation is 16%. A million max manpower. Alright. admin efficiency. We're doing very well on admin efficiency. Number 3 in score. New Sun Cult is number 1 religion, which is largely to do with us, given the bum-ass Phoenix Empire hasn't done anything for the past century. We actually don't have too many super huge provinces. Military leaders, current rulers... Army quality, yep. Number 1 with discipline, high up there with morale, pretty good siege ability, max professionalism, not pretty good tradition, but not great. We actually have the largest force limit, which is pretty cool for a elven nation. Navy-wise, we can field the 2nd largest navy. Arkother. Oh, they took over. Oh, that's cool. And naval losses... Only, actually, fairly small amount. 1,600... Number 1 culture is Dawn Elf. 10%. Yeah. And I guess we can go with... Oh. Turn observer mode on so we can take a look at what the rest of the world looks like. Cult of Ulios exists and has some level of adoption. New Sun Cult won the Bulwari Thunderdome, which is always cool. Shadow Pact. Ooh, we have the Umbral Covenant. They actually do have a little bit of a mission tree. I'm not actually sure whether the events have been localized, because this is a fairly old build. Other than that, Izelmora does not have its mission tree, but it is one of the... has one of the big mission trees as well. Somewhat similar to Zaka, if you catch what I mean. And over in Hellas, there is a 3-way... or 4-way, sorry. Loctacong sitting in the center, Bifon Jin, Dhui, and the Nada Mirage. They don't seem to have fought each other for a while. Do they have, like, alliance? Nada Mirage. No, they're not. No, I think these two are allied with each other. Wish the AI would be a little bit more aggressive. I deleted Inyasa just because I didn't want to deal with that. Do we have the evil ones? I don't think we have seen them. Bendika. Oh wait, that's the formable. Oh, the green formable. That is really cool. Ilkashibi. It wasn't... It was, who are they? Zubazim. They're the ones who formed it. That is really cool, actually. Okay. I guess we can look at the Phoenix Empire's vassals. How did... What? Okay, I think they must have been like a vassal of the Phoenix Empire. And they have done a whole bunch of the Madasi stuff. Who do they have as Madasi? Satrapy. Oh, they turned everyone into Madasi. That's a choice. Other than that, you have the Nodimraj. Who are actually close to finishing their infantry. Obviously they were formed from, what's it called? Rajnahaga. Yeah. Other than that, is there anything interesting culture-wise? I mean, this is probably the most unusual thing. And this. Oh yeah, the weird Council League Castellier. Order of the Iron Scepter. Castellier. Where's their capital? Trying to figure out Sword Covenant. Managed to form Castellier. Not a great game for the orcs. They got wiped out pretty hard. Council League is doing fine. Knight, religion-wise, a lot of new Sun Cult. They actually managed to spread down here, but that's not anything compared to this. Cult of Ulios. It's fine. What about these guys? One of the more evil cultures in the game inherently. Deadsmen. Destermark. Yes, they're the ones with the mission tree. I always get them and Marleyan mixed up. Marleyan's the vampire one. Is there anything else interesting? Meeks somehow still around. Oh, Dehui converted to Mystic Accord. So, that's sort of interesting, I guess. Alright, I think that will be it, though. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.